later hadden we het over 67 februari. En inmiddels is het 355 februari geworden. Wij, Oekraïners, zijn bevroren in de tijd. In de maand februari waarop ons vreedzame leven in één klap voorbij was. Thank you. Now we'll start to talk English. This will be all told in English so that anyone can understand what we are going to talk about. This was an excerpt from a diary that has been published in the Dutch newspaper, the Volkskrant, for almost a year now. And it was just one of the daily contributions she made, and I found it very good one. So, and I also would like to welcome all the people who are watching the live stream. Welcome. I hope you will have an interesting evening. And all you here, you're welcome to listen to the stories of Ukrainian women who left their country or who were living in Haarlem or whatever when the war started. You should realize 8 million people have left Ukraine now because of the war. About 100,000 people of them live in Holland, and about 1,000, a little bit more, live in Haarlem. So we're going to talk with 6 women from Haarlem, the Haarlem region, to talk about their stories, how they feel, how they look at the future, why they came here, do they like Holland or they don't like it. And of course you, as audience, you're all welcome to ask questions, because that's also a very important part. If you want to know something, just ask it. There will be heaps of time. And I will now start with the first guest we have tonight, and that is Katerina. Will you please come forward? Now, should there be this is Katerina. There will be a map over there. When it's all right. Look, can you tell us? Can you tell the people where you lived in Ukraine on the map?
Okay. Actually, originally I was born not far from this city. This is Luhansk region, and I'm living in Rovinki. It's a city that absolutely was created to mine the coal. So now you got to understand that this city and this part of Ukraine under occupation since 2000. I'm from Eastern Ukraine. From this, it's not pointed on the map. Rovinki, Luhansk region. I was born there, and for a long time I lived somewhere here in Donetsk region, because my mother is from Donetsk and my father is from Luhansk. So I'm like totally Donbass region girl. Yeah.
Come take a seat and we can talk on. Do you want a glass of water?
No.
No, you don't want? Okay, I'll take one. Tell me, now 1 year ago that the war started. Where were you when the war started?
Well, the first thing that I should mention, that point that for our family, for me, the war started not last year. It started in 2014. Yeah, and a year ago I've been in Ukraine, in Kiev. Our family already escaped, some of them, like we in Kiev, and some of them in Kharkiv. So it was really bad decision. Kharkiv also was the city on the border, like 40 kilometers from Russian border. So this is also my aunt, for instance. They see all these horrors, like deja vu, like everything repeated, but in much more scale, in much more like size, let's say, that captured all Ukraine, not only eastern parts.
What did you feel on that day when the big war for you started? You were in Kiev.
I was ready for that. We, like mostly people who are bordered with Russia, and especially from eastern Ukraine that suffer first, we all know that the huge war will be. This is a question of time, and it was like surrealistic for us to go on that, like before days, comparatively peaceful days, cities, to see all these smiling people and understand that in few days the war started. And I was sure that Russia didn't start it just in vain, just to show their, like, have a power and mighty, but they do everything to occupy Ukraine. So it's a serious thing, and most like dreadful and.
And how afraid were you on that day when it really started? The alarms, everything you heard. How afraid were you?
I was like, I can't like do nothing. Just I was like numb. I understand that I got to continue to do something, not to just hide. And but physically, when you are like mentally understand that it's horrific things, terrible things, but you got to control yourself because you got to do something to be helpful for your country or for somebody else, for your family, but your body don't understand it, and the natural, for me, natural reaction was it was impossible for me during like few days to eat, to drink, and even to brush my teeth. Okay. So. Now it's funny, but
and then you decided to leave your country. Why did you do that?
Well, as I perhaps you already know, I'm living in Kiev. I don't know, luckily because of the corruption near the territory of Ministry of Defense, where the air defense system stayed. Our apartment was built in Kiev, so we just arrived in new houses, in new apartments in 2015. On
defense grounds, but was not supposed to build there. So we were close to a big missile machine, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like a beautiful forest where his military bases hide, and it's that's why one of the reasons that we pursue like Yanukovych to flee to Russia. So. Because of the corruption was everywhere on all like levels and so on. But it's complicated. I don't want to overload you with such details. So when I saw the first, I guess, drone, and our guys that I don't know, they was soldiers. They trying to shoot that drone by themselves, and the bullets. I was on my balcony, and like on the
the war was very close.
The next floor balcony. It was like I don't know, bullets ricochet and this fire or something. And I understand that if I was unlucky, I would die, and nobody like. I did nothing, and it's dangerous to stay there because after the drone. Like spy what's going on there, and next time the rocket or bombing will definitely.
So you left pretty soon after February the 24th for Holland. Why did you choose for Holland?
It was the beginning of March. That was I guess 10th of March, something like that. Yeah. So this is.
Why Holland? Why Haarlem?
I've been in the Netherlands now more than 10 years ago as a tourist, and it was the country at that time. It was 2013, I guess. Before war, I was very, very, let's say, young and joyful, and it was the perhaps second country in the world where I feel absolutely like free, and the spirit of freedom. And for me, it was unconsciously, like, I just decided to go as far as possible because we're all human, and I understand that this is unique war when the I guess second day Russia started to threat with a nuclear weapon. So I was scary, and I decided like at least one member of my family got to survive.
So you got on your own here?
Yeah.
But your family is still over there?
Yeah, all my family.
And how does it feel? They are there, you're here?
Yeah, it's complicated, but at least they are alive, most of them, and to understand it's like makes me like, I don't know, calm.
Have you been back for a visit?
Yeah, I've been there like after the massive rocket attack on Kiev, and saw everything. It was not a surprise, but most of all, I was very scary about my very small niece. She's 2 years old. Yeah, and when the at the beginning, when the rockets just started to fall, they destroyed our electricity, like plants, stations, and in other infrastructure. And because like they are working, the damage was even bigger. So our government and I don't know, specialists decided that it's better to turn off the electricity if there is a risk of rocket strikes. So yeah, and could you imagine, we are living on the 15th floor, and if you are unlucky on the lift, or you are going with your niece for a walk, you got to
Yeah, I can understand that. But you're for almost a year, no, not almost, almost a year in Holland. Yeah. How can you manage here? How do you organize your life over here?
Well, actually, when I left, I wasn't sure that I ever come back, because I totally was sure that I can't live under occupation, and I will do like next step if the things gonna be worse. I asked my family also to save them, and it was very.
Take your time. If you don't want to ask, tell it. Don't.
It was hard times.
Yeah.
You know.
I can imagine. Yeah.
To never come back.
Yeah. Do you realize that you can never come back to your country that you love? Yeah. That's very difficult. Yeah. But are you looking for a job over here? Are you trying to really make a new life in Haarlem or whatever city in Holland?
Yeah.
And what is it difficult? What are you doing about it?
Yeah, I already in Kiev. I do everything that I can. Like I go to the hospital to give them my blood, to go to the volunteer center. I understand that if the city or country gonna be occupied and captured, everything that I do not need money or things anymore. So I decided to like warm clothes or sorry.
Yeah, just take some more.
Just sorry for that.
No, not a problem, of course not.
So I bring everything, and we started to doing this cocktail Molotov. You know the
cocktail Molotov.
You know the.
I know a Molotov cocktail, but not a cocktail Molotov. Yeah, but that's a bottle with benzene and.
Yeah. Exactly,
okay.
exactly. Yeah. So I find everything. This oil for a car.
And you made Molotov cocktails.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but later when this drone comes, and I understand that I could die just in vain, so I decided to.
Then a Molotov cocktail can't save you. That's true. But do you have any work in Haarlem now?
Now, actually, I'm looking for a job, and I hope it's gonna be a job that somehow related to my education and my experience. I'm an accountant, and I'm conscious that you have other system of financial statement, and perhaps somehow related to finance, financial analysis, or something like this.
So perhaps someone in the audience can help you to find a job. Is there perhaps someone in the who want to ask a question to Catania? Yes. No, I don't know. Is there a mic? Yeah.
You come from Luhansk and Donetsk, and this is the specific majority Russian-speaking people.
Yeah.
And in 2014, not later, but already in 2014, it was attacked and occupied perhaps by Russia. I wonder, how is the relation between you, as perhaps Ukrainian-speaking, and Russian-speaking people in Donetsk and Luhansk who are in favor of Russia? I don't understand how it works, and what is what people are fighting for Russia there.
Yeah, mostly I got to admit that it's a very good Russian propaganda, and this is a myth that they are created, because there is no absolutely problem with the languages, because I actually was Russian speaking, and from my childhood I'm well, my grandfather, so I'm partially Russian too. and my grandfather is Russian. So I never faced with any kind of discrimination, both on all parts of Ukraine, and even I could say more. For me, I studied in a gymnasium in my own region, and after that I got to pass exam on Ukrainian language, and it was kind of a discrimination for me, because for me it was hard to understand the question, the rules of the exams, like what they're asking for, because if I know answer, I got to be able to tell it. And yeah, it was unfair for us as to finish Russian schools and not be able to be equal as all Ukrainians. So better for us if we have higher education in Ukrainian. It's logically because we are in Ukraine, and it's only one country in the world that Ukrainians could speak Ukrainian, have all Ukrainian services, culture, and opportunity to study. Because Russian speaking, they are everywhere. They created small Russia in Belarus. They totally destroyed Belarusian language, also in Kazakhstan and all over post-Soviet republics. Yeah, there are some. I could say if most people knew about what happened next, I'm absolutely sure that they will be active and trying to do something to change it. I could say that 30% pro-Ukrainian, Ukrainian, and it's obvious because it's one country and we do not have any problems. Perhaps 30% because of they are originally Russians, or their relatives are in Russia, or they are brainwashed by Russian propaganda. And I guess 30 to 40% is people that they do not care about politics, they do not care about language, they do not care about everything. The main thing for them important is to have a stable work and to feed their children.
So there are no big tensions between those groups, the 30% of Russian and the other 70%?
Well, it was very shocked for us. For instance, in Donetsk, we have very famous in our region in Ukraine a football club, Shakhtar. It's a minor, let's say, in English. The color of this football team consists from orange and black strips. And how do you think it was Ukrainians or pro-Russian Ukrainians that didn't recognize that this is our football team flag? They cut it, they destroy it, and because they thought that this is our battlefield flag. We have blue and yellow, and after when from ancient times, when our flag blood put it on our flag, it became red and black.
But you
colors.
say so that...
And they didn't recognize that this is our football team flag. So for us, it was obvious that these people are not from our region. They was brought by Russians from Rostov Oblast, from Rostov region. It is Russian territory.
But you know how the Russian propaganda also get here, that, you know, Putin wants to protect the Russian-speaking people in the Donbass, so that's why he invaded, you know the story?
Yeah, it's sometimes irony of life, or it's very funny for us. They trying to justify themselves that they want to protect Russian speaking, but mostly even my region and all these Russian people suffer most. Mm-hmm. Our city, tens of them, totally destroyed, like a moonscape landscape. Let's say.
So perhaps someone else has a question for for now. Otherwise, I will just ask, thank you very much for your story. It was very impressive. And I will just give her a small applause. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I will now ask the next Olena. Hi, Olena, welcome. There will be the map. Just tell me a little bit when the map is there. Yeah, there's the map. And tell me where you come from Ukraine.
Originally, I was born in Lviv, in the center of the city, and I moved to the Kiev. The last 5 years, I lived in Kiev.
Okay. So you have a very interesting story, but you speak some Dutch because you are here for 5 years.
Ja, ik woon hier voor alle 5 jaar.
Vertel even, kan even in het Nederlands, om te horen hoe goed je Nederlands praat. Wat doe jij nu hier in Haarlem?
Ik woon hier met mijn man, met 2 kinderen. We zijn hier naartoe verhuisd in 2018. Ik heb Nederlands taal geleerd, want ik wilde graag werken. En in Haarlem het is beter om taal te
het klinkt heel goed.
Ja, en
complimenten.
Nu werk ik bij IKEA als accountant. Dus misschien kan ik helpen met Katerina om
help her. So we go back to English so that everyone can understand her. But tell me, you are here already for 2018. If you are here for a very special reason, tell me the story why you left your country already in 2018.
In 2014, the war began, but not in the whole Ukraine, and only in on the part of it. The Crimea was annexed by Russia, and back then, it began also from revolution, from when Ukrainian people were trying to have a not pro-Russian president and not so corrupt, not a lot of corruption, and to change something in their lives, because it was obvious that it was going nowhere. And my husband was there. He was on the Maidan, so he was protected.
On the Maidan?
On Maidan, yeah. Just so in Ukraine, it was Revolution Gidnosti, when everybody came to the open space in Kiev, to the main plain to protest.
Yeah, okay.
My husband was there, and it was very dangerous because many people died back then.
But okay, this is about internal Ukrainian problems.
Yes, it wasn't really internal Ukrainian problem because it was the start of the war. So when Yanukovych he flew to Russia, the war was started. So Crimea was annexed, and my husband said that it is really dangerous to stay there in Ukraine for us as a family, because we have had also 2 children, and he said that we need to move. And I didn't believe him. So even when Katerina just said that they knew that it will be the full invasion, we didn't know that. I didn't expect that. I said, no, it will be like in Georgia, on some parts of Russian-speaking parts will be under Russia, and that's it. And they stopped because we have this experience before in many other countries.
So you had a very difficult, your husband said, we have to leave. You said, we can stay.
No,
it
yes.
Won't be. So it's difficult. How did you, you left in 2018.
Yes, because my husband, he changed the politics of speaking with me. I found the way. I said, maybe we will just travel a little, just live in another country to look how it will be for our children, enjoy some other places also. Because we have our vacation every year. We went to Crimea to enjoy the weather, mountains and sea. And after 2014 it was impossible, so we started to go to attend somewhere else. And I said, okay, we can try for a year or maybe a little bit more. And he was looking for opportunity. He lived in Los Angeles for 6 months, but it wasn't a success for us. So he happens to find a job here
in Haarlem.
In Haarlem.
And what does he do?
He's a programmer, IT specialist.
Computers,
yes.
So, and then, it stayed more or less calm, you could say, That's what we thought from Holland and from Western Europe. And then the war started. What was your thought? What happened with you on that day? And the big war, the invasion started.
It was shock for me. I didn't expect this, and it was also a feeling of blame, because my sister called me a couple days before, and she said, you know, everybody is so rushing. Everybody is thinking about that the war is going to begin. Maybe we can come to your place to stay for a few days and just to calm down and to see what happens. And back then I told her, no, you know, they're just too anxious. Those people, they don't understand anything. You can stay in Lviv, it will be always safe, and I don't believe that something will happen, because it's all a propaganda and something like that. And back then she couldn't flew from Ukraine
because the border was closed.
Because the border was closed, and her husband should have stayed there, and they wanted to go together, but it wasn't an option anymore.
But did you want to go back to help over there?
Yeah, my husband, he went to the grants. He helped her to ride with her auto, with 3 children actually in the auto, because it was really a long way here.
Yeah. So he helped fleeing other people out of Ukraine to Europe or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, so he helped her to come here, to stay here in a safe place. We thought back then that it will be for a while, for maybe a couple of days.
But you're now for 5 years living in, I think, in Haarlem. You told me you have a house. How do you like it here in Haarlem? What can you say to other people who are here just for a year? Because a year ago the war started. Is there a future for Ukrainian people in Haarlem, or is it difficult to get the way of Dutch people live?
It is difficult.
Tell me what's difficult.
It is difficult because I never thought about it, but you have this feeling that it's not your place. When you're speaking other language, it's not the way your brain works. You know, you need to think twice what to say, how to say it properly. It's not really home. And you have a feeling, all the time you have a feeling that you're not at home. So you cannot really settle your life here. I was coming back to Ukraine every year to visit my family, to stay for a couple of days, couple of weeks, and it's not easy to live in immigration. But
especially about Holland, is it something that this I like about Holland, or this I don't like? What do you tell to other Ukrainian people who are coming here?
I like that there is a lot of freedom here. You can say what you think. There is a lot of opportunities here also. You can find work. You can talk to people. People are polite, and they are also welcoming. I don't like the weather here.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but yeah, you can use it. I like travel with bicycle. It's also something new for me, because in Kiev it wasn't really an option.
But now your family is over there, and you're here. What does it do with you?
Sometimes I just sit and cry, because I cannot stop the feeling that everything is very bad. This feeling, it's like somewhere underground. You know, you can live your life, but you feel this underground pressure that something is going on. You know, it's like an action see when you are going to travel somewhere. You know, you have this action see. Yeah, I need to do this. You're a little bit scared how it will be, but this is for some time. And for me, it's already a year that pushing me, and sometimes thinking, did I call my father? Is he still alive? Because he's fighting for Ukraine, and he's fighting in the most hell of it. So sometimes I think that everything will be okay, but this pressure is always there.
But can you sleep? I mean, if your father is in the hell somewhere in Ukraine, can you have a sleep or whatever? Can you live?
It's very difficult. I can sleep, but I have this feeling that I have these dreams sometimes that he dies. Or I have also sometimes a thought, what if he dies? Should I go to Ukraine? Should I arrange the funeral? I need to be there. I will travel there. And yeah, my first, of course, thoughts were I wanted them to be here, to be in a
all your
safe
family,
place.
your
All my
mom, your
family.
dad, your siblings, yeah?
Of course, yes. And as Katerina said also, she's worrying about her niece,
Yeah.
because it's the children, and we are carrying most, as a mother, as a woman, I'm carrying a lot of children, because they are innocent, and yeah, it's on, it's very difficult.
But how does your mom deal? She's there, your dad is somewhere fighting the war. You can't go to her to comfort her, because only the telephone or Skype or whatever.
Yes, she's asking, the last time she was asking, maybe you can come to Poland and I will drive to Poland with a car so we can meet in Poland and spend a few days, because I miss you so much. And she's so lonely there, because she's really alone in the city where most everybody fly away. So and now she cannot go, because she wait for father to
come back.
To come
to your
back.
father, dad to come back. And then they perhaps will come to your place, you think?
I don't think so.
No? Your dad is not allowed to leave the country?
No, not because of that. But my father is also not plichtig. He's not supposed to go.
He's a volunteer in the army?
He's a volunteer, yes.
Okay. So, but he really wants to stay there. He doesn't want to flee.
He wants to protect his country. He wants to protect us. And for him, it's also when I have this bad feelings or something like that, I cannot tell him that I'm feeling bad or something like that. I'm always saying, yeah, everything okay with us, everything is perfect. We are very happy. We're expecting a child. And
You're getting a third child, yeah?
Yes.
In 2 months, I think, 3 months?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm sending him a picture of our children and how happy we are, because he said that this is what I'm fighting for my children, to have a proper future, to have a happy future. So I don't think he will.
And we hope that one day the war will over and Ukraine will still be Ukraine as you want it. Do you go back? Do you stay in Holland? What do you think?
For now, I think we will stay in Holland, because we just used to it. And also, it's not our home country anymore. It is very different. But
so your future is here in Holland now?
I think so.
Is there perhaps someone from the audience who want to ask a question to Olena? Yes? 2 questions first. Yeah?
Did you find a house here in Haarlem? And and if so, how did you find a house?
Very practical question. It's important to have a home, yeah?
It's a little bit unexpected question. We lived in a we rented an apartment
in Haarlem.
In Haarlem, and we have found a house in using Funda.
Funda.
And
very Dutch.
Very Dutch. Yes.
Oh, so your husband earned enough money to buy a house, to put it that way. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we have a hypotheek.
Hypotheek. Yeah, a mortgage. Yeah. Yeah. So that's how she found the house. And where do you live in Haarlem? In what city? In what part of the city?
Haarlem North.
Haarlem North. Okay. And there was another question.
Yeah, I'm curious how it has been for your children over the last years. Are they aware of everything that's going on, like in Ukraine or with you guys here?
Because my sister came with her children, it was a big party, of course. We were very happy to meet each other. And for children, you cannot, they didn't feel that that's something going on. But my sister's children, they wanted to see their father, of course. They missed their father a lot. And they were asking when we can visit our grandma or grandpa, or when father will come. And then back then we did understand that we need to talk to them. But of course they felt the tension when they were crossing the border, and my sister was crying and she didn't want to come here and everything else. And it is really a sad story, because we told them that the war is, and we told them about the Russian invasion, and that Russian soldiers are killing Ukrainian soldiers and the bombs are falling. And my son said that, oh, I want to come back to Ukraine and kill all Russian soldiers, because they are making a mistake. It's not possible to kill other people. I want to protect Ukraine. I know I was so crying, because I don't want anybody to die, also Russian soldiers, and I don't want my son to be a killer, because it's just what you don't want to do. And it was really hard to explain that it's not an option. But yeah, it was for children it was really hard. And my sister, she was constantly missing her husband, and she couldn't stay here for a longer time, because she wanted to be there, to be with her husband, to be in her own house, to live her own life, to have her own job. It was so important that she decided to go back to Ukraine, and she's now there with her children, and she stayed there.
Okay, thank you very much for this answer, and the children. Thank you very much for giving your thoughts to us. And we have now give her a small applause, a big applause for Elena for her story. We're now going to have, a little bit, just some relaxation time. There will be a song by Dana from Kiev, and. Where is Dana? Where's Dana? Yes, she's there. And first she will just read a small part out of a book. There's a book published in Kiev, just, in this period. It's a diary of many people who live everywhere. And she is in the book. And she just want to tell, 2 minutes, what she says in the book. And after that, she's going to sing a song. And the name of the song, it's in Ukraine, of course. The name is Bird. And on the piano, that will be Sasha. The floor is yours. Oh, you can. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Nostalgia about Kiev is my permanent feeling this year. My happy life there was ruined on 24th of February 1992. You know by whom. Before the full-scale invasion of the Russians, I started to build my career as a TV news anchor. A childhood dream came true. Actually, almost all my dreams and goals were achieved in Kiev. Our capital is like this. It gives hundreds of opportunities and chances to achieve what you really want. Kiev gave me all of this. Almost every street, every building there have some unique memories for me. In Kiev, I was madly in love. I laughed loudly with my friends, drinking white dry wine. I danced until the morning. I sang my favorite songs, and of course, sometimes I made mistakes and were disappointed about something, but I always kept going. Full of confidence, inspiration, and with belief in a happy future. And I really didn't believe it until the end that the war could start it in 2022. I didn't want to believe that there will be a morning when I have to pack my life into a suitcase and in half an hour leave my cozy apartment and my lovely Kiev to go just nowhere, just far away from the explosions. But that morning came, unfortunately. At 5:30 a.m. on February 24th, I was standing in a traffic jam leaving the capital of Ukraine, despite my optimism. And the reality, full of death and grief, came. The reality where mornings start with check if your family and friends are alive. Once I read a book written by an Austrian psychologist, Viktor Frankl, maybe you know him, which is called Man's Search for Meaning. The author wrote it based on his own experience from his stay in a Nazi concentration camp during World War II. And one of the quotes from his book was, "The first ones who gave up were those who believed in everything will end soon. The second one who gave up were those who did not believe that it would ever be ended. Survivors were those who focused on their actions without expectations about what can happen or cannot." I remind these words to myself when I have a kind of feeling of giving up. And I keep going, focusing on good things without expectations, doing as much as I can for people around and for myself. And I have one big dream, to land at one of Ukrainian airports straight after our victory. Just 1 second, because I can't sing like this.
Some water?
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Біла крила на тополю, сіло сонце понад вечір за поля. Покохала я до болю молодого скрипаля. Покохала, зачарована струною, заблукала та мелодія в гаю. В гай зелений солов'їною весною я понесла своє серце скрипалю. Шла до нього, наче місячна царівна, шла до нього, як до березня весна, і не знала, що та музика чарівна не для мене, а для іншої луна. І не знала, що та музика чарівна не для мене, а для іншої луна. Thank you.
We see you later, then she will sing a second psalm. I will now ask to come forward Tetjana, sorry. So first, take the mic and tell on the map where you come. There's the map. Tell where you come from.
We live in Dnipro. Yes, this city, Dnipro.
Dnipro, yeah.
Near Donetsk. Yeah.
Okay, that's where you come from.
Yeah, it's my hometown.
And there you lived on February 24th. last
in
year.
Dnipro.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
And 24 February, it was very hard morning for us because we heard and saw bombing, and my children come to me and ask, "Mom, what happened? What we heard?" And I said, "It's war." It was hard, and yeah.
And what did you do? You heard the bombing, your children were perhaps crying, you were crying?
No, it's not crying. It's like what we have to do. We don't know what we have to do in this situation. We think more, and after we try understand what to do next. And we go to west part of Ukraine. It's Ivano-Frankovsk.
Near the Polish border. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And we go with all family, 2 children and husband. But after 10 days, 10 days we stay in near Ivano-Frankovsk. And after I try and I make decision about go to another country because it's not safe in Ukraine, because every time alarms, every time bombing some city, it's not safe for children, it's not safe.
So you left with your 2 kids and your husband stayed in Ukraine?
Yes, husband still in Ukraine.
And you arrived here in Haarlem, and now you're living here with your 2 kids, they're 6 and 14?
Yes,
yes.
Yes.
What
First, we live in Hoofddorp in hotel, and after we go to Haarlem, I find host family, and first we have in Hoofddorp school for my daughter. It's a basic Dutch school, but when we go to Haarlem, we change school because it's not near. And now she still go to basic school. But we change location. Now we live in Zandvoort. We have all options what for Ukrainian people. But it's not easy way. Every day my daughter have cycling to school. It's 8 kilometers to school and 8 kilometers from school.
That's the Dutch way of life, yeah?
Yeah, and my oldest son have first time when we lived in Hoofddorp, he has only online education in Ukrainian school, but now we have in Haarlem Iska Lyceum, but he still study in Ukrainian school online, and he should mix
the two systems.
It's not easy, and next week it's holiday in school.
Here in Haarlem, yeah?
Haarlem, yeah, but in Ukraine they haven't this holiday, and they can, our children, Ukrainian children who still have study in Ukrainian, they haven't rest.
But how are your kids doing with? Do they have Dutch friends? Your kids, do they mingle a little bit?
My children have Dutch. My daughter has a Dutch friends because she go to basic school. It's not easy for her because she. Is afraid to speak. She understands more, but she afraid to speak with people. Sometimes she feel like kitty, small kitty.
But don't they miss their, their father, their grandfather who are in Ukraine?
My children every time miss to father and want back every day. I don't remember.
They want to go back every day.
Every day they asked me, Mom, when we back to Ukraine? I don't remember one day when they don't ask me about this. They very want back.
And you have to say no every day.
But it's not safe. We were twice in Ukraine for this period, and it's very hard decision. Understand what to do. Stay in Ukraine, in Dnipro, because we understand front line. It's near to us. And last time when we went to Ukraine, we was in this period when Russian bomb
your city
destroy house. You heard about this maybe. Yeah, and we.
But your house is still fine. Your house is there.
Our house is okay. It's near. It's 2 kilometers from us. But I remember this situation. I remember this my thinking. But for me, better stay in Ukraine. But I cannot stay in Ukraine because I understand my children not safe in this situation.
So you want to go back, but you stay here because of the children.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and I think it's not good because children feel it. What I feel.
Of course.
Yeah, and this not good for me, for my children. Yeah.
So then this question might be simple. So the day the war is over and safe, you will go back to your husband and your family.
I think we back early.
Earlier?
Early, yeah.
Yeah. Is there someone who would like to ask a question? Okay, thank you very much for your story, and your children, we wish you all the best. Okay, thank you. So the next woman is Natalia. Hi Natalia, welcome. So just the map and tell me where you're from. There's the map. Take the mic.
Everyone, hi. I'm from Izmir, on the border with Romania. I need to mention that near my city is the Snake Island, Zmini.
Is the what? The?
Zmini, a snake island.
A snake island? Oh,
yes.
Snake Island, in Schiereiland.
It's a desert region. And that's the reason why I left Ukraine on 25th of February, because Snake Island was took at the 6 p.m. on the 24th of February.
It was big in the news. Was it?
Yeah.
The Snake Island that was attacked, and then the Ukrainians came back, and
yes.
then...
yes, it's super close. And
it's super close, yeah.
Yes, when the war started, I knew that I have time. I thought that it will be at least a few days. But at the end of the day, it was in news, because those army who has Snake Island, they control the Black Sea.
Odessa, they can shoot whatever.
Yes, of course, of course. And that's why I left Ukraine on 25th of February.
And why did you come to Holland? How did?
No, first I moved to Romania because
it's close, your border.
Yes, I moved to Romania. I was there for 5 weeks. And as all my family are military workers, my father said that, it will be very fast, or it will be very long. And I was staying for 5 weeks, and I had a call with my dad, and he said, so probably it will be long. And and also my little one, she is only 5 years old. And
your
little one, daughter.
Your daughter.
I have a daughter.
You have a daughter, yeah. 5 years.
5 years. That's why I left Ukraine. I mean, only because of her.
Yeah.
Probably if I wouldn't have a kid, I would stay in Ukraine as my sister stayed. So I took her and I moved to Romania. I was staying there for 5 weeks, and she was 24/7 with me, and she was only 4 years old then. And then I thought, I was thinking about, okay, then I need to choose a country to take temporary protection, because I didn't take temporary protection in Romania. And I chose Netherlands because, to truly say, when I came here, I didn't know that even the size of Netherlands. Yes.
It's very small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I chose Netherlands because I was checking the UNICEF top countries to raise the kid.
Okay.
Yeah, and Netherlands is usually in the top 5. And yeah.
So it happened. And she's going to school now.
Yeah, she's going to school now.
And she likes it?
Yeah, she loves it. She has a lot of friends, and she has fluent Dutch. And because of her, I also have a lot of friends.
In Holland,
parents,
yeah.
yes, parents of her schoolmates. Yeah.
And where do you live in Haarlem?
I live with a host family.
Okay, for almost 1 year now.
No, not only with one host family.
Oh.
I live in Haarlem since 1st of July, but I came to Holland in the 1st of April. So at first I was in Aalsmeer, and then I was in a host family there. Then I moved here because Red Cross found a host family.
Okay, and how is it to live as a host family? People you don't know, they invite you in your home. How is it to live with them?
First, always like when you just see the people, is like okay. I mean, it's a little bit unusual.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it's very unusual. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I very thankful for all the people who hosted me and my daughter. It was 3 host families. Now we're in the 3rd host family. And I noticed that Dutch people is like they're very close from the very beginning, but when you're talking to them and trying to understand them, and also I'm studying Dutch, and they're very helpful with that, and I very like your mentality.
In what way?
In this way, you're very helpful. You're very open. You're very open not to everyone, but to to people who is open to you.
Yeah. You told me in Ukraine you were a psychologist.
Yes.
And you told me that you want to do something with your profession here with the Ukrainian people. Tell me about it.
Yeah, first when I came to Aalsmeer, first which I said to my host that was, okay, I need a job because I'm very thankful that you're hosting me, but I would like to live independently. Yeah, and I've got a job at a school, also as a psychologist. I was like everyone there, I mean, as a translator, as a teacher. And yeah, I had a bad experience with that administration at school.
School administration?
Yes.
In what way?
In what way? They were saying that they keep going to making contract for me because I have not usual situation, etc. So I was working practically for 6 weeks for free, and
so it was difficult to get a contract with the school, formal contract.
And then they didn't give me a contract.
Oh, they didn't give you?
No, they didn't give me a contract and didn't pay me. And also they decided to put all Ukrainian kids in one class. And I said that if my other one won't be in the class with Dutch kids, then I need to move. And they said that okay, and I changed the humanity.
So you left Aalsmeer, and but
yes.
what do you think? How do you can help other Ukrainian people here in Holland with your knowledge?
After that experience, I took a pause.
You took a pause, yeah?
Yes, because I needed to recover after that. So after that, after pause, I wanted to start to help people, to work as a psychologist, of course, in my field. But at the same time, it's a little bit hard here because Here, our master degree is equal to your bachelor degree, and insurance is not covering
treatment.
Yes, treatment. Vluchtelingwerk and Psy Global, they were trying to get finance from the government to our work, but it's not working as I understood for now.
So it's a lot of red tape to get your And what kind of a problem do you see as a psychologist among many Ukrainian refugees?
They are all traumatized. It's the first thing, of course, and the whole year they're in this condition. Of course, from the very beginning, nobody knew how long it will continue, but for now it's already a year. So from the very beginning, nobody was thinking about, okay, we need to give a psychology support to every Ukrainian. Because we, of course, I understand foreigners who is not running the Ukrainian news, but practically all Ukrainians running news, of course, because they need to know what is going on in their country. So they in this constant condition, so they need support, and I think nobody knows how long it will take. Take, yes. They need it as soon as possible.
Yeah. So you hope to help them as soon as you have all your paperwork done, or
I would love to. Yes, I would love to, but I've got a message from the Red Cross in Zandvoort, and I know, for example, Tatiana, who was before me, she was apply for a psychologist, Russian-Ukrainian speaking psychologist, and they said to her that they haven't, but at the same time they wrote to me that they didn't got finance. So they will took a Dutch volunteer.
So you're willing to help, but the red tape, because you speak, of course, Ukrainian, it might be very helpful, but it's just now impossible by the Dutch system, whatever. Yeah. Okay, is there someone who has a question about her interesting job she can do? Okay, Natalia, thank you very much for your story, and all the best. Give an applause to her. Thank you. And then the next one is Anna. And there will be the map, Anna. First you take the mic. And then just there is the map.
Okay, hello everyone. So I was born in Khmelnytsky. It is in the middle of West and Central Ukraine. And then I moved to Kyiv to pursue my bachelor's. And I'm currently in my 4th year of bachelor's. I'm studying in Kyiv National University, and we're studying online. And
tell us what you study.
My major is Korean linguistics and English translation. So I'm basically a teacher and the linguist.
So Korean, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You don't hear that often. So tell me, you have so you're a bit younger than most of the women we have.
I am.
So that's, of course, but you were in Holland when the war started. How is that possible?
Yeah, so basically, when I was studying in South Korea in 2021, I was doing my, how do you call it, like an exchange there. And I met really cool people from Germany and Netherlands. And I came back to Ukraine. We celebrated our Orthodox Christmas with my family. And my partner and his friends, they hit me up and they were like, hey, do you want to catch up in Germany and then go to the Netherlands? Like, the tickets are very cheap. You can just buy the Ryanair ticket for, I think, 20 euros. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm broke. Of course, I'm going to take the Ryanair ticket. So, because of that, I took not even a suitcase, but a little bag with me, like a backpack with me.
So that was in February, just before the war started, just for a holiday, a party holiday, whatever.
Yes, so I arrived to Berlin on February 19th with my little backpack, with my 2 pairs of socks, and that's it. That's it. What I have, and makeup, of course. That's it. What I have. And oh well, Germany was not fun. I prefer Netherlands. So
why?
Yeah. Well, No.
Better party?
What can I say? I mean, you guys are just happier here.
Than in Germany. No, okay. You say.
And then on February 23rd or 22nd, we arrived to Amsterdam. And what did I do? First and foremost, of course, I went to the coffee shop.
Of course, everyone does.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah, and you know, I'm 20 and that's what we do.
That every tourist does, so that is not a problem.
Yeah, it's not legal there, so for me, it's like, you know, going to the theater or something like that. And yeah, having it joined here is also an experience of a real tourist. So we went back to a hotel. I fell asleep immediately, of course.
Of course, it happens.
I didn't charge my phone even, you know. And I woke up at 9 a.m. peacefully. And then I unblocked my phone. And it's literally bugging because of the old notifications. And people are, I'm sorry that happened. I'm so sorry for you. My international friends are texting me. I thought, oh, someone died. And then I called my mom. She was like, withdraw all your money. Your bank can be hacked. Your card can be blocked. The war has started. We're sitting in the basement. My flight was on February 26th. And, of course, it was eliminated. It was just cancelled. It was cancelled. I had, I think, 60 euros. That's all I had. And my backpack with my makeup, of course.
And your 2 pairs of socks. And there you are.
Yes.
And there you are in Holland.
Yeah, and here I am in Holland. And I got stuck here, basically. So, yeah, you may say that I haven't experienced the hell of war, actually, and this is true. My parents have experienced this, not me. And I have experienced the enormous feeling of guilt. Guilt,
that you were not there.
Yeah, that I'm not with them, that I've done something wrong. Why are my parents suffering, but I'm not? And you know what was even funnier, when I met people, and it was on the news already, and they're like, how are you enjoying Holland? Mooi, you know, lekker, so amazing. I'm literally sitting crying here. I have nothing left with me.
No friends,
no
family,
no
nothing.
family, no friends. No one could help me, no one could host me. So I went to the Red Cross. Red Cross didn't know what to do. And they were like, we cannot help you yet because we don't know what to do.
Yeah, you were one of the first.
Yeah, I was one of the first. I was just standing there like, what should I do? Where should I go? I don't know. Okay.
And how did you manage?
Well, 10 p.m. I was crying and walking over Amsterdam with my partner, with my boyfriend, and we went to Domplatz, and I saw a little tiny protest of 10 Ukrainian people singing our anthem and holding a flag. And I was like, okay, I should try my fortune. And I was like, hi guys, I don't know what to do. I'm 19, I'm stuck. Do you know where I can go? Like anything? I have very little money, but I can pay. Like I have 60 euros. You can take it, take everything I have. Just please host me for a couple of nights because I cannot afford to go to the hotel because it costs around 100 euros per night, right? And there was a girl, and she was from the same university as me, from the Kiev National University, and she hosted me for 10 days, absolutely for free, in her apartment in the Pipe. And you know what? I actually had some people here. I actually knew some people here. You know what they did? Nothing.
How do you mean nothing?
Nothing. No, they didn't even reach out. They didn't even say like how.
Ukrainian people, you mean?
No, Dutch.
Dutch people.
It's not no shade for Dutch people, but I'm just saying that you get help from someone that you expect the least sometimes, and you get very surprised, and I get very surprised how kind and cruel people can be at the same time. No one owes me anything, but I was just surprised that someone offered me help out of nowhere. So I was just lucky. And then we traveled a little bit because my mom fled also, and she was like, let's go to Poland, it's closer to Ukraine, the war will end in a couple of months and we will come back. And I was like, okay. Then we went to Poland and we understood that no, it's not gonna end.
And your mom is back?
No, and I convinced my mom to come to the Netherlands. Why I came to the Netherlands again? well, because my boyfriend is Dutch, and I wanted to be as close to him as possible. So I chose this country because I wanted to stay with him. And we came here, and I had to find a host family. And I found them in Haarlem. That's how I ended up living in Haarlem. They were Americans, they're also immigrants, and they didn't know anything about Ukraine, like, no location, culture, nothing, but they were so ready to help. And I was like, I couldn't even express my gratitude to them.
But you couldn't live with your boyfriend in his place?
Unfortunately, no, because his parents don't like me because I'm a refugee.
Okay, well, that's a hard story.
This is, I hope they're watching it.
But you still have your boyfriend?
I still do,
okay,
yeah.
that's a good thing, at least. Yeah. And then, because you couldn't study anymore, your future is more or less ruined. That's very dramatic. But how are you managing now? What are you doing?
So I'm still studying online. Yeah, the education is not of the same quality as it used to be, of course. And well, I'm just happy that I know the language.
Dutch?
No, not even like any language. You know, I'm just happy that I can get a job here, just knowing English. And I worked here twice. And I stopped because I wanted to focus more on my education. But I actually want to get an internship here to do something more meaningful.
But are you going back, you think, once in the future to your country?
Yeah, so I went back 10 days ago.
No, but I mean when the war is over for good?
You know, I actually want to, but I understand that no one will need a linguist.
In Ukraine?
No one. They will need the people who can build, the people who can protect, the people who are accountants. And I'm kind of useless. I will not get a job. And all I can do is that I can support, I can donate, and I can volunteer to be closer. And of course, the biggest part of my family is still there. So I really miss them, but I understand that for now, yeah, I can come back, and how will I live? Where will I live? I don't want to, you know, be a burden to my parents, not being able to pay my own bills, because this is what's going to happen. I cannot live off on the salary of 400 euros per month, but this is what they offer there. So unfortunately, this is how it is, and I will just wait till the better times.
You just don't know what's going to happen. Well, Anna, that's a story. Is there a question for Anna? Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
You said you studied Korean.
I do.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of connection between Korea and Ukraine? And is there something what you might be able to do in that field?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So actually, the story of Ukraine and Korea is very similar. We have a lot of similarities because Korea was invaded by China and also occupied by Japan in the previous century. Korea used to be one of the poorest countries in the world, and that's why I have an enormous respect to them, because thanks to their technology, thanks to the human resources, because it's a small country, what can they do? They cannot trade their products even, because they just have rocks and that's it. They have very little land, but they are smart, and they could and they managed to build the industry out of them. Korean music, Korean makeup, Korean cars, fridges, everything. So I actually would like to build the connection, and I would actually love to learn something from them so we can integrate it into Ukrainian society and learn from them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I didn't know about Korea and Ukraine. Okay, thank you very much, Anna. We are going to the next one of Dana. Applause for Dana. Sorry, one case, sorry.
My question is, I guess, not particular to you, but you know, I was wondering that there's some Russian population in Holland. You know, Russian immigration. Lots of people from Russia live here for many, many years, and you know, strangely enough, they are mostly pro-Putin. You know, so my question is whether you had any interaction with them, and if you did, did you try to convince them that it's not really the picture that we all see every day on TV? So how did it go, if you had any experience?
That's an amazing question. I was looking forward to hearing that. Thank you. So I actually wrote down a quote. perfectly for this, by Dante, who wrote the Divine Comedy. The darkest places in hell are reserved for those who maintain their neutrality in times of moral crisis. And I'm not speaking only about Russians, but about everyone who doesn't express their opinion. And the opinion that they're pro-Putin or pro-Russia, pro-war, you can call it anything, it's still an opinion, and I'm happy that they express it because I can detect them. I'm like, oh, this is the person who is a little bit different from me, you know? And that's okay. And it has a place to be. I'm not gonna convince them because this is their choice to be violent and they choose to be cruel to others. This is simply a choice. And I would rather respect someone with, you know, an opinion. But I always ask them question, if you're so, you know, if you're a fan of your president, if you're a fan of cruelty and war, what are you doing here? Why did you come? Who did you flee from?
And what do they say?
No, you don't understand. I'm just a patriotic person of my country. Something like this. And they're like,
ignorance.
Well, yeah, then why are you working here and raising your kids here? Ukrainian people eat kids. You know, there is a myth in Russia. Ukrainians eat kids. Ukrainian women are gold diggers. We come here to, what, to steal your job and your man. This is what they say. And, well, let them talk. What else can they do? They cannot travel anymore.
Russian propaganda.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll now have a second song of Dana. And she told me it's about the gardens. It's again in Ukrainian language, of course. The Gardens of Cherry. And again, Sasha will play on the piano. No, she will not play. Sorry. So we shall do it on our own. Okay, Dana, the floor is yours. Sing your song.
So one more Ukrainian song. I will think a cappella because we didn't have rehearsal of this song. I hope no cries from my side anymore. But still, it's a little bit sad song, but about love.
Ой, у вишневому саду, там соловейко щебетав, додому я просилася, а ти мене все не пускав. Ой, милий мій, а я твоя, пусти мене, зійшла зоря, проснеться матінка моя, буде питать, де була я. А ти дай такий отвіт, яка чудова майська ніч, весна йде, красу несе, а тій красі радіє все. Весна йде, красу несе, а тій красі радіє все. Доню моя, у чому річ, де ти гуляла цілу ніч, чому розплетена коса, а на очах бринить сльоза, чому розплетена коса, а на очах бринить сльоза. Коса моя розплетена, її подруга розплела, а на очах бринить сльоза, бо з милим розпрощалась я, а на очах бринить сльоза, бо з милим розпрощалась я. Мамо моя, ти вже стара, а я красива й молода. Я жити хочу, я люблю. Мамо, не лай доньку свою. Я жити хочу, я люблю. Мамо, не лай і доньку свою.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dana. Very nice. So now we come to the last speaker of this evening, the last woman who's willing to share her story with us, and it's Uliana. Uliana, she is, Uliana, there she is. She has founded Haarlem4Ukraine as one of the members, and she has helped enormously with organizing this evening, so for which the Pletterij wants to thank Uliana very much, of course. Uliana, first you go to the map and tell me where you're from Ukraine, please.
I came, as I didn't tell you that before, but maybe some of you know, I came from Dnipro. It's also like 120 kilometers from the front line was freezing after the war started in 2014. So for the last 8 years, we lived like near the kind of the front line itself. But still we felt like quite safe there. Yeah. And yeah, as I said, I came here only half a year before the war has started. And I was really homesick at that time because I followed my husband's career also as Alenka. And,
as a what? As
Alenka, I did.
As Alenka, yeah, okay, yeah.
And I didn't really want to. That's how I said, okay, I'll give you a chance for 1 year. I mean, not you, but the Netherlands. And yeah, and in a half year, the war has started, and my change has changed the focus.
But your husband didn't want to go back to Ukraine to help the country.
My husband?
Yeah, he didn't want to go back to Ukraine to help the country.
He would actually, but he's Russian.
He's Russian?
Yeah.
That's complicated.
Yeah, it is quite.
You heard a question that was asked. How is that? I mean, because he's Russian, the Russian is the aggressor in war. How do you cope with that in your relationship?
No, it's not easy, for sure. Like, because he's very much pro-Ukrainian.
Okay. Yeah.
If I may say so, I think he's just a normal human being. And as the one who understands that it's a modern world where no country have a right to go to another country and take it. So that's actually, we moved to Ukraine right before 2014.
Before the Crimea, yeah.
And because we wanted to be closer to Crimea, and he does climbing, so we wanted to climb there.
Rock climbing?
Yeah, the wall climbing, the mountain climbing.
Yeah.
And yeah, in February, in the 1st of March, Crimea was started.
And then his parents, of your husband, they are Russian as well.
Huh?
The parents of your
no,
father.
They live in Yekaterinburg.
That's Russia, yeah?
Yeah, they cried a lot when it started. They felt enormously guilty.
Okay.
And they couldn't do anything.
No, of course not.
And they still are like not able to influence it, maybe, but I think that all Russians can influence. Unfortunately, they do not do much. And I think, I don't know, yeah.
And what language do you speak at home?
Actually, we speak mixed now. I used to speak, because Dnipro is the same as Donetsk and Lugansk and many other cities of Ukraine, like Russian-speaking cities, but it's not because we like Russia, but it's because of the historical situation with the Soviet Union, and because of the Ukrainian language was the one which was actually pressed and was forbidden and was trying to be eliminated. So actually, if we would say that who were suffering from like about the language, that was the Ukrainian-speaking people. It's not Russians who were suffering. Like everyone were okay, like with people who speak Russian. And I spoke Russian all my life. Of course, I can't speak perfectly Ukrainian, and I love it to make it. And I started to speak almost fully Ukrainian at home as well, starting from this year Independence Day.
Okay, so you started to talk Ukrainian also with your kids.
Yeah. So and they now picking it up, and they now can learn. And actually, that's my husband who said, "Uliana, you have to speak Ukrainian at home, just because who else will? like they are Ukrainians and they have to speak your language, I mean Ukrainian language, and I cannot make it, so you should. And that's what he said, like after visiting our Independence Day event we had here in Haarlem, and he said, I'm so proud you are doing this, and I want you to support our kids learn Ukrainian.
That's a good story, and I think everything is all right. But you know, so you were crying when the war started, you couldn't do anything, you were here. So what happened after that? What did you do?
Actually, like I went to very first day on 24th, I went to Kaag because to Den Haag.
Den Haag, yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I can pronounce it differently.
Yeah.
So I'm a
you're learning Dutch. Den Haag, yeah.
Yeah, Den Haag. And there I met with the other Ukrainians and the group. We created a group. We went every day for different cities for protests, starting again from Den Haag, and then moved to Brussels, and then to Amsterdam, and actually on the fourth day we had the biggest protest in Amsterdam on the fourth day of war, and then when we come back, we just decided like, okay, the world have heard about us, like it's obvious that war has started, and we all do not want, and we all did not choose to have it, and the world has get united and has to act against and pull it back, right? So that's actually what was started to happen, and yeah, I think unfortunately now we are speaking here, and it's almost a year. That days, every day felt like a month. I would say, like we could not, like I was accidentally by myself because my husband with the kids were on vacation at that time. So I also, as Katya was saying, I was not eating, not sleeping. I was like just going crazy and could not believe this is happening. My brother went to the army also as a volunteer from very first day, and left his family with 2 kids back home, and when he protect his family. And yeah, I can talk about it a lot, but what I can say that unfortunately, like everyone at that time, everyone would think that, okay, it will finish in like a couple of days, maybe weeks, but not more. And now we are here after almost a year. And I think this is something the world could not make, like to get united as much as it needed to make it stop, to make Ukraine win and get back to the justice again, back to the freedom, back to the world peace as it was before, normal life. Yeah, and yeah.
We are waiting.
And I think, again, we've just heard so many stories. Not so many, maybe. I've heard much more during this year, working together with as a Haarlem4Ukraine leader and also with other volunteers who I also can see here. And all those stories are different, and they have different problems, and they have different approaches to get solved those problems. And at the same time, so and it doesn't seem like we have answers for that. That's what I feel. I felt like this feeling of hopeless and I don't know, the powerless. That was the feeling I had in the first day of war. Because when I'm trying to remember how it felt, that was the main feelings we had.
But tell me what you...
And now I feel very much the same, because we are still there. It still did not change much. And then I keep thinking further and say, okay, maybe something have changed. We have learned something, we know more, and we should act a bit differently now.
But tell me about your work for Haarlem4Ukraine. You founded that organization, and how can you help the Ukrainian people in Haarlem?
Yeah, basically I'm with the other people who were on that protest meetings, we gathered together on 5th day of war, and we realized that people will come soon here, and we have to support them somehow, because we realized again that it will be mostly women with the kids who will come, and it's hard to, I don't know, like it's just, and they will come to their relatives or their friends and everything. And again, I just can't refer to Olenka's example, because she was my friend who was really near my neighbor. She is, and I just moved to another place. But I saw her situation. Like, she has 2 kids, a husband, and her sister came with 3 kids together, and they lived all together in one house. It's not sustainable solution, and I kind of thought, oh, maybe we can at least think about, I don't know, place for kids to go, or school, how we can put those kids together. And so we were thinking that we should make something like this. That was the main idea.
And how is it going?
And then,
I mean, how is your work going?
And then it went to like really full scale of refugees. And again, I can relate to what Anya was saying about Red Cross, because on the 5th day of war, we were trying to get in contact with the municipality of Haarlem, with the Red Cross, with Vluchtelingenwerk, with different other, many of organizations, with Haarlem Effects actually also was in the list. And we were trying to get understanding how like this will be approached, like how people will be accepted, or what will be support of the country. I don't know, the organizations who are taking care of it, and there were no answers. And I think the crucial difference which Haarlem4Ukraine made, we just didn't think much. We started to act, and on March of 9th, we had the first meeting with the refugees of Ukraine in Haarlem. Mm-hmm. And since then, we had like every week, we had at least 3 meetings where people could come and see each other and talk to each other and support each other. And then we went to the full scale of support in a social, on a social matter, like where to go, what to do, how transportation works, how how they can be employed, or what like all kinds of different questions, like, or even to get a SIM card, how to get a SIM card.
Just
because,
basic help with the needs,
really
schools.
Basic help, but it was not there. And also we have started to find the housing for people. We created a website where people can kind of apply to be a host, and those who came here could apply to find the house. So we thought that it was a kind of a good idea to make, and then many other things we have done, but this is probably not something I want to.
No, but tell me what can improve. You're very experienced now. You know all the Red Cross and Vluchtelingenwerk, and you're working together. Actually, what do you think that can improve?
Actually, like as you can see from our name, Haarlem4Ukraine. We didn't think much like how to call it. We call it from after another organization which called 20 for Ukraine. We reapplied it immediately, but the main idea was to connect people who are willing to support Ukrainians with Ukrainians who needed to support. So we thought that any organization which we have can create kind of a joint action plan where we can put like different directions of supports needed, and we can work through it, like work together to make it happen, to make it a proper kind of support.
But there is no action plan, as you say.
But unfortunately, we failed to gather all organizations together. We tried to work like to make it, but yeah, now still, again, as I told you, like the main idea was to be the contact point, like a kind of a single point of contact for Ukrainians and for those who wants to support Ukrainians. And for now, it's not like that. We have still many organizations.
But are there many problems now? Because there is, you say there's no big plan, but are there really problems that your big plan could solve those? Can you give some examples?
I think yes, it is possible. Because, for example, as you could see that situations are different. Different groups of people requires different support. For example, moms with the kids have one list of needs and like real problems they have. I know teenagers is another, or students who came by themselves or with the parents. I don't know, maybe older people have a totally different needs, and it's different. And the main idea is like to, and this is what I would start from again. If we with the Haarlem4Ukraine, as I told you, we started just to act based on what we have, and it's okay, it's good in terms of crisis. But now we are in a situation where we can learn and make a conscious decision and better solutions for each of like different kind of cases. And I'm telling this is like, for example, we can take the database of people who came here and study it and do research to understand deeper and make it actually a real action plan based on the data we have. Not just using the previous experience of refugees we had years ago.
So
like
you want tailor-made work for all the kind of groups of refugees that are coming. Okay, that's clear. Perhaps some people have some question for Juliana. I think your wish for a better plan and better cooperation is, loudly heard and understood. I think. Let's hope it will be improved. But you want to say, you want to add something?
Yeah, I want to add something. Actually, I think just to summarize what was discussed here, I think despite of the all smiles and energy you could see here.
Despite the what?
Despite of the whole smiles, like people were smiling here and like brought some energy in the audience, I think Ukrainians are exhausted, really. Like emotionally, physically, at all different levels. It doesn't matter, like they fled it. I mean, of course, those who fled it affected even much more because they have much higher level of uncertainty than others. But all Ukrainians are tired, in simple words. And we really, really need the support on different levels again. Starting from a country level, as a country, I think Ukrainians in Ukraine also quite tired now, fighting back, and as organizations and like us as a volunteering organization, we also quite tired of doing what we do, and we do need support. This is the one thing, and
we're running more or less out of time, Juliana.
Okay, then you say we have 2 minutes left.
No, yeah, we have. I'm going to hear some piano music, and we have to.
I just wanted to close it. That most important again, the question I've been asking myself from very beginning of the war: what can I do in this situation? How can I help? And I think this is a question still remains again. And this is a question I want everyone to ask themselves, even they are not Ukrainians. As far as war is still there,
what can we do?
We should ask this question, what can we do? If it is still there, then we did not manage ourselves well enough to finish it. And so there is space for something to do something. So that's... I really wish everyone will ask themselves what they can do, and it's either to volunteer to help Ukrainians here or in Ukraine, to donate for Ukraine or to here, to do whatever is possible, or just to give a greeting card to your neighbor who is Ukrainian, or who...
So do something.
Yeah,
do something. Okay, thank you very much for your story. So do something. Thank you very much. Thank you. So this will finish the talking, but it's not finished yet. There is some piano music. Fjödor, he's from Krakow. He will play the piano. He told me it will be a kind of improvisation of jazz, and then this evening will finish. The stream will end as well. You can have a drink at the bar when Fjödor is playing. Listen to his music. I want to thank the Pletterij. I want to thank Haarlem4Ukraine. I want to thank all the participants and, of course, all the women who share their story with us for this wonderful evening. Thank you very much. Okay, Fjödor, your floor is yours now. So we are now making a greeting to all the participants. Yeah?
And again,
Geweldig, dit was Fjödor. Het slotwoord is even in het Nederlands. Ik ben een van de vrijwilligers van Haarlem4Ukraine. Allereerst wil ik u enorm bedanken dat u gekomen bent. Maar dit is niet de enige avond deze week. Aanstaande vrijdag, 24 februari, is het precies 1 jaar geleden dat de oorlog is uitgebroken. We hebben in het patronaat een heel bijzondere avond. 2 Oekraïense jongens. Het duo heet Warnia Kania. Ik zeg zelf in het Nederlands altijd Warnia Kanitja. Maar ik weet eigenlijk niet eens waar het vandaan komt. Maar in ieder geval, het is heel belangrijk, want zij hebben een poëtische, elektronisch-muzikale performance met videobeelden. Ik denk heel indrukwekkend voor de Oekraïners, maar ook voor het Nederlands publiek. Nou, veel te lang verhaal. Maar het is een uitnodiging om te komen aanstaande vrijdagavond 24 februari. En Uliana fluistert mij net in. Deze avond was nu tijdens de oorlog. Laten we elkaar tussentijds nog zien, maar vooral uitkijken naar de avond dat we bij elkaar zijn als we de victorie kunnen vieren.